Alright, today we're doing Vorkath. Just a couple quick notes about the gear that I'm using here. If you're using range, I would recommend using the Elite Void and the Ranger Helm and a Salve EI because this is going to increase your damage against undead with all combat methods. The enchanted version does, not just melee. Your assembler, Archer's Ring, just some Pegassian boots, range boosting gear there. But if you do have a twisted bow, it works fine. I just use it because I don't have a lot of liquid cash to buy other things right now. But the Dragon Hunter crossbow with the Dragonfire ward, or even just an anti-fire shield in the offhand, is really good. The ammo you would use with the Dragon Hunter crossbow is you would start with the Dragon Ruby enchanted bolts for the first half health, or a little more than half of his health, because their special does damage based on the remaining health of Vorkath. But then once you get down past around half, then you switch to Dragon Diamond enchanted bolts because their spec just is a little more accurate and hits hard. You can just use a blowpipe too. If you're using a blowpipe, it would look exactly like this, just with the blowpipe and a blessing here instead. But then as far as inventory, either Bandos Godsword or Dragon Warhammer is really good. Dragon Claws is good too, especially if you're doing melee. But the Bandos Godsword and Dragon Warhammer are good for reducing his defense because he has really high defense, so you'll get faster kills if you can hit him with the spec. But you can just leave off the spec weapon too. It doesn't make that big of a difference, especially when you're just learning. But then Divine Ranging Potion, Extended Super, Anti-Fire, and Anti-Venom. So when you don't have a Dragonfire ward, you have to protect from Mage and use Super Anti-Fire in order to get the highest level of protection. But if you do have a Dragonfire ward, you can protect from range the whole time, which is a little better because he tends to use his range attack more often, and it's more accurate, it seems, hits harder. And the Venom, he uses a Venom attack that always venoms you, so you just have that handy. You need some prayer potions, some food, and then I have a rune pouch with Laws, Chaos, and Dust because that allows me to use Crumble Undead and Teleport to House. You need Crumble Undead for one of his special attacks, which is this little zombie thing. And in order to actually hit the zombie thing with your spell, you do need to have a magic bonus of greater than -64. Not that big a deal when you're using this setup, but when you are using melee, you might have to bring a Slayer Staff because the Slayer Staff gives you a magic bonus and it auto casts Crumble Undead, so it's a little convenient way of defeating that little guy. Alright, so we are going to go to Relica one way or another. The fastest way is probably to use your C boots, your Fremenic boots, 4 if you've done the Elite Diary, but I like to just go to Lunar Isle from my house because I can restock there in between trips and then just use this return orb if you've done the diary. Otherwise you can talk to a banker that's not Bird's Eye Jack and they'll send you back to Relica. So I'm going to take this orb and we're going to go over to this dock. So Vorkath has his main attacks. He's got a melee, a range, and a mage attack. If you're ranging him, he only uses his mage or his ranged attacks. And he does have a few things that are like a firebomb that he'll lob in the air. You just step a couple steps out of the way. Or the Venom Attack. It looks like a magic attack, but it's green, I think, and it always venoms you. So, and you are going to want to turn Run off because after every 7 of his attacks, he does a special attack, and that can be either he shoots acid rapid fire, and for that one you need to literally walk around to avoid the acid. You can't run, otherwise it's hard to avoid it. Otherwise he freezes you in place, and you have to use Crumble Undead on the little critter that spawns. And I think that's it. So let's just get started here. I'm going to get my Bandos Godsword ready. I don't really know why, but and then I'm going to put on Piety and just protect from magic. I'll use my Divine Pot, my Super Anti-Fire. We'll wake him up. And hopefully he doesn't use a special or yeah, okay. So I did hit a 7, that's alright. Decent. There's the Venom. Alright, so I used that. I'm going to switch to Rigor. There's the magic attack. And start hitting him. Alright, so that's the firebomb. You just walk out of the way. That's his ranged attack. And I wasn't keeping track, but that was the 7th one. So when he uses that, that acid one, you just kind of try to avoid the first one as best as you can. If you're counting kills, or if you're counting attacks, right before he does his 7th one, I like to just start walking in one direction because that seems to help me avoid that initial hit. So there's 1. I guess I'm going to count these off. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this next one is going to be a special. It is the frozen one. So he froze me, and I'm going to get Crumble Undead ready, and I got the spawn. There we go. That one's nice and easy. 1. And this is, you just repeat. So, you know, if I was using the Dragon Hunter crossbow, I'd still be using ruby bolts right now, enchanted ruby bolts, because he's got, you know, over half health. Ouch. So yeah, but after you get him around half health, which I think he is, so you know, if I was using the Dragon Hunter crossbow right now, I would probably switch to diamond bolts. When you're doing this one, by the way, when you're like 3 tiles away from an acid spot, that's when I like to turn around and go the other direction. Just because, oh, that I forgot about that attack. That is a prayer disabling one. The purple or pink fire disables your prayers, so it's good to have quick prayers on to rigor and whatever protect you need. But yeah, when you're doing the acid walk, just, you know, stay about 3 tiles away from the nearest pool of acid, and you'll be able to, you know, change directions pretty quickly or pretty easily without walking into the acid. So let's see, was that 5? Oh, I got a little server lag here. So I'm just gonna start walking. Yeah, that was a little scary lag. I'm uploading several other videos as I'm filming this one, so that might be why it had a little lag there. You can Wooks walk this phase, if you know what that is. I've never even tried because it just seems like so much effort. Alright, there's a kill. I'll do one more while we're here just for good measure. The drops from this guy are just super consistent. You know, I've killed him 3,000 times, or almost 3,000 times, and I haven't got, you know, there's not really many uniques, but every kill, you know, is decent money just from the, oops, yeah, I had the wrong quick prayers there. It's decent money just from the, you know, the regular elks that he drops, basically. The pet and Dragonfire Ward, or Draconic Visage and Skeletal Visage are really the only uniques, and they're all like 1 in 3,000 or worse, 1 in 5,000 I think for the Visage, and they're not really worth that much anymore, so it's, you know, kind of disappointing. But the pet would be a fun one to get. Still haven't gotten that. Alright, there's one. And just keep an eye on your super anti-fire as well, because if that goes off, you're gonna start taking some hits, and it's not gonna feel very good. Alright, frozen. Got him. That's actually what I end up missing the most, is missing clicks on the little skeleton guy, or undead guy. I think that was the 5th one. 6. And you can, you know, cross over lanes there if you are feeling tricky. You know, I caught myself in a little bind there. It's not fun to click between those two, so I tried to just get over to a long runway there. Alright, yeah, so that's about the point where I would switch to the diamond bolts using the Dragon Hunter crossbow. So his health starts to get a little lower, and the special attacks are basically equal, but the ruby bolts do take a little bit of your health when it procs. So it's not really worth it if your diamond is going to hit them just as hard anyways. Okay, so my Anti-fire is going to run out here. So you can let it get as close to 0 as you're comfortable doing. But he's probably going to venom me here soon. Oops, see that 9. So when you do walk through the poison on accident like that, it heals him and hurts you, so it's not very good. And you'll get the hang of this walking around the acid. It's you might panic the first couple of times you do this, but if you're watching this video, you probably did it for the quest, and the non-quest version is harder, but it's really not too bad, especially if you've got Dragon Hunter crossbow. Blowpipe is a little tough, especially after they nerfed it, but you can do it. You can get enough kills to make it worth the GP per hour, make it worthwhile. If you've got max gear, you can get a couple mil an hour pretty easily on this guy. All right, so we're gonna wrap this kill up and then we'll call it good for today. All right. So yeah, not a ton of kills this time. I would prefer to be using the Dragon Hunter crossbow. It's just much better. So anyways, that's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one.